You could have just had the 15 minutes I just got to have. We're going to wing it at Mr. Sheppard's request. We're going to have fun today. He's got a lot of stories. Looking out at the audience, and I'm including myself in this, he's got an IMDb page that goes back further than most of us have been alive. Not to, you know.
And me. I'm a dummy.
He is one of 26 actors, including his son, that have appeared in both the Doctor Who and Star Trek franchises. He's a graduate of the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art in London, having appeared on stage and screen for over 50 years. And if you're a video game nerd, you have most assuredly heard his voice as the narrator or characters in games such as Civilization V and Medal of Honor. Please join me in welcoming to Phoenix Comicon Fan Fest, Mr. Morgan Sheppard.
Anybody there? Anybody there? That helps. Anybody? Oh boy.
Oh, yeah.
I do duck noises now. I walked on the set and a leading actress, a star, she's a big star in the Royal Shakespeare Company, and Janet, and she sits there and she looks at me and she said, "What are you playing in this movie?" Which was the Sexy Adventures of Robin Hood. You can imagine what the script was like. And I said, "I'm playing a Saxon thief." She looked at me and she said, "Oh, how the mighty fallen." She, I might add, was playing Eleanor of Aquitaine, and the crown was, you can imagine. Yeah. Janet Sussman, lovely chap, yeah. She Cleopatra. With, yeah, that's right, Cleopatra. Richard Johnson. I go, 57 years I've been doing it now, so I'm inured, shall we say, to criticism. I've had it both ways, when I deserved it and when I didn't. And, you know, like I was telling you in there, a fan walked up to me in Orlando and said, "I've been wanting to meet you for 15 years. And I went, "Hello, how are you?" He said, "Why is it you only play small parts?" And I said, "Well, they didn't start out big, but as you get older, you know, it narrows. But I'm still working, so it's okay." Any questions? Anybody want to know anything which is not intimate? About my son?
Hey, your son was very nice.
He's great. He's good. He's free and easy.
You plan on doing any more Star Trek? Because I know you've been in a lot, like Voyager.
No, they killed. I did a Vulcan in the last one,
Right.
and which has got me degraded by the Klingon brigade. No, they take it very seriously. They invited me up in Indianapolis to a Klingon banquet. And on stage, two very imposing Klingons in full armor walked towards me, lifted me up physically, and one was a woman, and picked up a goblet and handed it to me. And I said, "Is this a loving cup?" And she said, "Yes." And I looked back at her husband, who was 6'5", and went, "I think I'm in love." And I drank it. And that's what people couldn't get over. The risk I took in drinking it, because I had no idea what was in it. I mean, it could have been anything, you know. Particularly in this country, because we do some crazy things here, right? Exactly, you know. It's fun. It's got to be at my age now. It's fun. What can they do to you if you? They never tell me I'm lousy. I'm not. And I do it still for fun. I mean, I have great fun doing it. I really do. And I like challenges still. That's what keeps me going. You know? He's good. My boy's good. Because we both sort of, you know, won awards and all that kind of jazz. Him in particular. And we don't do it for that. And we do it for the love of the game, you know. And with him, it's about passion and honesty. The same for me. He won the Best Actor Award in 1992. You can't be the best actor in Hollywood. It's ridiculous. There's so many good ones. I mean, it's stupid. We know that. But he won the Best Actor Award in 1992, and I thought, oh God, I've never won an award. God, I'll be second place in the family now. That little son, that little... And he stood up there, and he went up there, and he just said, my dad inspires me to excellence. I won the same award in 1995. I didn't think I was going to get it, but I had to go to the dinner because I was invited. And it was all Carol Channing and, you know, Richard Dreyfuss and Lawrence Fishburne, you know, some pretty good stuff up there. And me, and I said, I'm not going to get it. You know, I'm not going to win. I'm not going to win. And he went, have you got a speaker? I said, no, I'm not going to win. So I never win these things. And then they called my name. William Morgan, and the whole table of the theatre company, 30 of them, the Matrix Theatre Company in LA, they all were up, jumping into the air. And I then realised what Sally Field had meant all those years ago. Right? Me? Like me? I was hell in the play. I was the biggest bastard in history. It's a wonderful role, wonderful role. And I stepped up. I had not prepared a speech. And I just stood there, and I looked at him, sitting over there, and I just went, well, he said, the pursuit of excellence. I'm going to say, boy, does he keep me honest. Because he does. You know, he checks that, and he says, phone that one in? No, he doesn't. He doesn't. He doesn't. We respect each other. We like working together. True story. Doctor Who?
Yeah.
Right. Well, he had that marvellous role with an FBI guy. What a beautiful episode that was. Really. For the second part of that show, the arc, the character arc, he has to be aged. And they said to him, this is absolutely true, I'm not making this up. They said to him, you're going to play 90s, you're going to have a prosthetic. And he went, oh God, no. They said, well, it's only 5 lines. It's literally 5 lines. It's a bit. He won't get my dad. And they went, your dad doesn't do bits. He said, no, he owes me. Because he had come in for one day, uncredited, and you know how big he is in Supernatural, and uncredited for my bit, big bit, in NCIS, where I play a Polish torturer, and he plays the younger version of me in Afghanistan, cutting and killing people. And I now teach that at Langley. Yeah, that's what it was about, that episode, NCIS. And he came in and did a terrific job as a junior me. And anyway, he said, I'll get my dad. He rang me and he said, I said, they won't let me do it. It's Global 1. Screen Actors Guild, we have quite good protection, which is, you can't get lousy residuals from the rest of Europe. I mean, I get residuals like 7 cents from Switzerland, 18 cents from Mali, you know, whatever. This happens because America's all over the world. I mean, television, quite rightly so. It's good stuff. It's quality work in the best shows, and there are some very good shows. You can't beat The West Wing and The Wire stuff. And I was in Mad Men, Anyway, so I said, I'll try. So I rang SAG. I said, can I get special dispensation to, come and play me? Playing Mark's father, the same character, actually Mark. And they went, no. Or go up higher up the ladder. So I went higher up the ladder. Right. High, next one, no. Next one, no. Next one. Look, it's not fair. We understand. We'll set something up with the council. So at 3 o'clock on a Wednesday afternoon, I was scheduled to ring a council member who was anonymous. The conversation went, on my word of honor and to my shame, the conversation went like this. Hello, it's Morgan Sheppard here. I've been asked to do this. It's a very small part. It's only 5 lines. And a voice at the other end went, oh, Morgan, shut up for Christ's sake. I saw you in Mad Men. He knew me. I won't say his name, he's a sweetheart. He went, you've got it, we're going to give you special dispensation. You're a lousy actor still. How you doing? You're very good so far, I like it.
I'm just enjoying the story.
Any questions? Come on, don't talk about me all the time. Yes?
Have you ever shared screen time with Mark?
I've ever shared what?
Screen time. Have you, because I know you guys
Oh
have
yeah,
done the same
we've done
shows,
4.
but-
Yeah, 4, hold on.
Like-
We did a Swedish film, Danish television film, for which we never got paid, as far as I know. We played, same guy, he played the younger version of 2 hitmen, but 1 hitman, sitting in a car waiting to kill somebody, which was a little independent film we did together. When he first came here, in about 89, 90, came here about 90, I was here in 87, permanently in 87. I've been on Broadway with Marat-Sade in 66, and then 1975, and then went back to Europe, and I worked out of Europe predominantly. That's why I have to have the stupid W. I don't like the W Morgan Sheppard, because Morgan Sheppard is a race car driver for NASCAR. No, seriously.
Yeah.
And they said, no, you can't be Morgan Sheppard. You have to I said, I can't change my name after 30 years. What little knowledge the world has got of me is, Morgan Sheppard. But so we stick the pompous W at the front. But now, because he's retired, we're sort of getting special dispensation. It would be great if we did. Cool.
So you have worked with your son, but what was it like to work with him as the boss, the director on Mysterious Island?
That was tough. Not working for Mark was tough. I admired him so much, what he had to do and the way he did it. 15 shooting days to shoot a 75-minute picture. 15 days, 2 weeks, literally. 2 weeks. Weather, insects, a recalcitrant couple of staff members who had to go. Oh, yeah. Can't do that. Not when you can't screw around when you've got 15 days. And bad weather, and he never ever stopped smiling. And he got it done. He wished he'd got it done in better circumstances where he could really cut a rug, because he's good. He's very good. I didn't have an argument with him, but I wanted to play the one with I wanted to play him with an accent. I usually do, I do a lot of acting. And he wanted me straight. And I felt the role would have played a little better. That's just me. And, but, he did a hell of a job. I've got nothing truly genuine admiration for him. Because I would have, being me, I would have, and I've done it, I've hit people. I would, You don't want to do this? You're bitching about it? Go. We don't need you. And so certain people left. It's all right. And we finished in good time. At least we got a film out of it. But I hope you'll get more down the road. I really do, because he can do it. He really can do it. Direct, I mean, his acting is super anyway. And acting is very analytical, very intelligent, and he's in a good show. I mean, it's, you know, those boys are great, and they work well together in Supernatural. So it's been good to him and been good for him, because he's funny. That's what I like about his work, which is that he's got I'm Anglo-Irish, he's quarter Irish. So that bit's where the comedy comes from, the fun comes from. The Aegis, we call it an Aegis, learning to play like an Aegis, you know what I mean? It's all a bit like that, you know? I know. How are you doing? I'm doing well. I'm doing Barry Bloody Fitzgerald now. Yeah. And that's what cost me that role with Ron Howard in Far, Far Away, whatever they called it. I said to him, how do you want the accent? Because we'd have to have an accent which Tom Cruise can do, and I don't mean that disrespectfully. You know, he's got to have an accent that we then cut into, so we all sound, roughly we all came from the same place, which was not apparent in a certain movie with a certain star lady playing an Irish maid, who obviously lived in Scotland, Sweden, Denmark, Germany. The accent went from left to right the entire movie. I won't say. I won't say a name, but she smiles an awful lot. Yeah, what was I saying?
You're talking about Nicole Kidman, I'm happy.
No, she can do it.
Okay.
No, Nicole can do it, no, this was somebody else, remember. Don't get into that, Morgan, you know better. Next question.
Can you talk about the difference in working in American television and British television and the other nationalities that you worked in, the difference in how they do things or how they relate to you?
Well, the Brits will cross the line, as it's called. In any of you guys who know about camera, they will cross the line. They'll have that shot will come, and you'll get that, you know. England, the pace is slower, much slower, less pressure. But as Tony Hopkins, Brian Cox, myself, we all, Pat Stewart, we all say the same thing, that America's where the work is. British television is good, and no question, it always has been, always will be. But there's not enough of it as compared to the actual load of work that's available here, and the quality of the work. Mad Men, Dexter, The Wire, West Wing, some of the westerns, still with what I call the DeVal trilogy and that kind of thing. That's here. That's the best works here I've done. I've done 4 westerns. Can you believe it? You know. I know, not like that, but not with that voice. That's my Civilization 5 voice. My Pat Stewart imitation voice, because we were 7 years together in the Royal Shakespeare Company. Hello, somebody overacting over there. I teach acting, that's why I couldn't do it.
So you just finished a movie called Last Man Club, and what can you tell us about it, and when can we expect to see it?
It's ended up, it's being edited again, which tells you something. Oh, it's a great shoot. I worked with Barry Corbin, Richard Keel, Anne French, Jim McCrubb. I mean, all good people really working their socks off against the weather. The director was ill at one stage, genuinely. But we did it, we got it done. And this was a typical independent movie. He got the leading man set up on the Friday, ready to shoot on the Monday, and the leading man backed out. He's now ringing around trying to get, who can I get to play the lead? We were set, Barry and I, and Richard, the three support guys, which is about 4 airmen. World War II, that was us four. Getting him out of VA hospital and flying off, frankly, in the original version, into the sunset. That's why the film didn't get made for 10 years. Well, it was a downer. Well, we don't do that now. And we shot it and reshot, and it's in editing right at this very, very minute. And it's a good family picture. It's a family film.
Yeah, it sounds, when I read about it, it
Yeah.
sounded really interesting.
It's gentle. It's sort of Hallmarky, do you know what I mean? It's got that kind of, yeah, a bit like, Hallmark's okay. I mean, they can be very good. They're not always that sentimental. And we had a director who was very unsentimental, which is great, which with Barry and myself and that, we tend to be not difficult, but no, we're not at all, actually. We're not at all difficult when I think of it. But we're not sentimental. Go on, your turn.
So I have to ask, because there's a lot of people in here my age. Does anybody remember Max Headroom?
Woo!
Is the Mohawk ever going to come back?
True story. 3 years ago, I'm rung up by the producer. He said, we've got a meeting with the money for the return of Max Headroom. I said, oh, thanks for telling me. I look forward to seeing it. And he went, no, you're probably going to be in it. I said, but I'll be 80. I mean, you know, Blank Rage is going to be bloody 80 years of age, you know what I mean? And I liked him. And the chief writer on that show, Blank Reg, my character, was his uncle. Ex-paratrooper, DJ, drunk, marvellous character. I mean, a wonderful outlaw rebel. And I shaved my head for that job, to get the original role. And then the phone went, and this is absolutely true, at Christmas, 1986. And as the producer said to me, got a passport? I went, yeah. Valid? Yeah. Can you come to Hollywood? What for? Max Headroom. Get on a plane. Oh, by the way, they don't want you. Harsh reality. Harsh reality of American television. Oh yeah, gotta get. It's all about rejection. Our game is all about rejection. Anybody out there wants to be an actor? Be careful. You've got to be used to being rejected. I now know it's not most of the time it's never personal. It's not personal. It's choice, it's brown hair, it's, oh, you remind me of my grandfather. It's, no, you walk into a room, I'll tell you a true story. Walk into a room, there's 6 of me sitting there. 6 guys who can play. They're all good. They're good American actors, for God's sake. And they're old and they survived. So we sit there and we're waiting to do this movie, audition for a movie with Sean Penn as a Jew chasing the Nazi who killed his family, right? That was the movie. We're up for the Nazi, 90 years of age in a wheelchair. And I'm married to a German, so German accent is not a problem. And we're sitting there and we suddenly see the first guy up, the old guy, who should be nameless, with his walker, puts his walker by and I'll see you in a minute. Goes in, comes out 10 minutes later, and he just said, good, the one nearest to death gets the gig. That is an American actor. Right? I'm serious. I love it. I love that kind of, what can you do to him? Nothing. He's done everything. He acted with Joan Crawford. I mean, you know, I've been lucky too. I mean, you know, I've acted with some very good people. You know, Peter O'Toole in particular. I've done a lot of stuff with O'Toole. Brian Cox, Paul Schofield, Albert Finney. My American stuff, Max von Sydow, Ed Harris. I mean, Doctor Who, Mad Men. I mean, oh, you come on. It's been a boon and a blessing, you know? So when I don't get it, like a couple of things this year, I don't get up to, I can get depressed, sure, like anybody. But I don't blame anybody for it, because it's the one closest to death gets the gig. He knows, and I know, oh God, the clock is ticking. I'm 83. What are you going to do to me? Just give me a job. No, I'm not going to be fussy. Yes, I am. Of course I am. That's what I can afford to do it now with my career, which is getting smaller. But I've just done Last Man, which I loved. I love Barry Corbin. Working with these guys, I mean, you know, and we're ad-libbing, we're doing stuff together. It's great, you know. The business is great. And then watching my boy. You know, my stats, he's carrying on like it's nobody's business, you know, bless him. It's terrific. I really do respect his work.
And we had a couple more questions out
Yeah.
there.
I've noticed that, at least as far as everybody in this room is concerned, much of your work has been in the speculative fiction, like Star Trek, Babylon 5, Doctor Who. Is there something in that genre that draws you as an actor? That's why we keep seeing you show up in these kinds of shows?
The reason why British actors play a lot of these sort of roles is we've done mask work. Mask work. We played behind masks. American actors are not used to that. American actors are very, with great respect, American actors are used to playing themselves, to a large extent. Not the great ones, whoops. No, the great ones, and we know the great ones. I've been compared to, can you believe it, James Whitmore. I go, and that was James, the son, said to me, "You remind me of my dad." Do you know? I said, "I know who your dad was." I am standing here embarrassed. I said, "Embarrassed?" I said, "Yeah, your dad was phenomenal. Go for broke." He went, "Nobody knows he was in that." I said, "I know your daddy. Who do you think I steal from?" That's absolutely true. I'm not lying. I'm not lying. So British actors have got an edge. They've also got an edge with sometimes the archaic language change that you get in science fiction. When you tend to get the fourth nebula on the left will be very strange tonight. You know, I mean, you get a lot of that, and British actors are pretty good at doing that. Japanese ones overdo it. I've worked in Japan too. Anyway, and science fiction is a free field for the imagination of the actor. And believe me, I mean, you know, it's taken seriously. We take it very, very seriously. I mean, you know, particularly Star Trek. With the Star Trek boys, you're in the family. I've done, what, 4 now? 4. And like the last one, well, the Vulcan, that was, oh, they killed me off. Yeah, that's right. That was the last one I've done. But science fiction is, it's free, it's outlaw, it's a little mad, and they like madness. And British actors tend to act with a constraint, which when they get into that kind of stuff, you know, I mean, the Klingon I did that so many of you have been very sweet about. The speech, this is the difference. Mark said to me, he looked over, "You got it?" I said, "Yeah, we just done the deal." "Great, great. You know what it's from, don't you?" "From? It's an original script." He went, "Yeah. You're commandant of the camp." "Yeah. Bridge on the River Kwai." Got it? That's the diff. That's the difference. Bridge on the River Kwai. I wrote Bridge on the River Kwai. It's welcome to Rora Bente. It's not Rora Bente, it's a Japanese camp. That's the difference. Welcome. Sister Hakawaya. He played the lead. And that's the stage. It's almost straight out of it. And I'm the smallest Klingon in history. Which is the great joke, which you guys, bless you, you have to be in the industry to get it. We started, and I'm standing there, and they're 8'7" on either side of me, and the dog. And I'm there like that. And now, I never worry about being smaller, because I hopefully tend to play them smarter. Right? I play a lot of bad folks. And usually I play, like my first Western, with James Arnett's Gunsmoke, which is a two-hour TV Western. I played the ringleader of a gang of drama. I played him smart. He was more evil than the rest of them put together. Oh, I mustn't tell you that story. No, it's the wrong kind of sex.
You're an American.
No, you get me into trouble. It's not very, no, no, right.
We have another question right here.
Yeah, sticking with sci-fi, do you have a favorite sci-fi fandom that you like to
Blade Runner.
hear from?
Yes.
Blade Runner. Definitely Blade Runner, the best. I'm so amazed that Harrison Ford didn't get it. Didn't get it. He didn't think he was what do you call it? A discard. What were they called?
Replicant.
Yeah. Deckard is a replicant. Got to be a replicant, otherwise the movie doesn't work. He's the next replicant. He's the closest to humanity, and he doesn't know it. But he's got to, because of the little piece of paper. Right? That little piece, just on the floor. By Jimmy Cosmo, lovely Jim. That's the reason for Blade Runner. Genius movie. I think it's absolute genius. My favorite thing, should I tell you? You haven't asked me.
Yes.
But I'm thinking. I was very honored to be in Gettysburg.
That's my next question.
Was it?
No, go please, continue.
Ron Maxwell, they rang up and said, well, I'd like to go in and read for the sergeant, the Irish sergeant, Kilrain. Played eventually by Kevin Conroy. Beautifully, I might add. I walked in, and being Irish, I am authentic. I was brought up in Ireland, educated there, and then went to England for 30 years. And now here for 27. So, I go in to read, and Joy Todd, lovely Joy, says, read Kilrain. Hello there, how are you? And I'm talking about men and heroes, and it's all a bit like that. And I've not been long off the boat. You know what I mean? And it's all a little bit with my Irish. That's how I sounded when I went to RADA. That's what they did to me. God, what they did to me. Thank you very much, guys. I read for it. She said, that's good. Got a problem. I said, well, the role's just been cast. I went, oh, okay, well, I'm sorry, I didn't know. Hold on a second. Goes down the corridor, comes back in again with Ron Maxwell, the director, who's since become a friend. He just said, she said, listen to this, do it again. Do the Kilrain again. With the Irish name. And he said, oh, can you do American? I went, yeah. I have to work at it, but yeah. He said, good, okay. Virginia? I said, what are you asking me to do? Virginia accent? He said, yeah. I said, oh, okay, who am I up for? He said, Trimble. Baltimore. I said, oh, Maryland. He went, Maryland. Because remember, your great-great-great-great-grandfathers had not an American accent a lot of the time. You had English accents. You had there's a big mistake about accents being played in history, because even English lords didn't sound, hello, good morning, but they all sounded like Charles Dance. No, they didn't. They all had local accents. I'm the Lord from Derbyshire. Yes, I am. They mixed among the people and they sounded the same. Anyway, so I read for Trimble, and I was up against Royal Dano. And so I knew it was important. And I seemed to have read the guy, and he said, you got it. And I said, yeah, you got it. You got Trimble. Because of the ferocity. He was a ferocious little man. And arrived on the set later on, and there's an old friend of mine, Martin Sheen. We worked together, Babylon 5. And he looked up at me and he said, hi Morg, hi, I'm Marty. Not like doing the lines in the hotel, is it? I went, no, it's not. And it's a tough speech, starting with the harangue, my explosion. It's what they call it, my explosion. Trimble's goes bananas. He's the only man ever to do it with Bobby Lee. Bobby Lee's God, as you know, to the south. And understood. And I walk in and I say, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. Because we should have taken that hill. We should have taken that yesterday. And he's saying this to Bobby Lee. And there's a moment there in it. I don't know that behind the camera in the next room, on the video, Sam Elliott, Berenger, Tom Berenger, Stephen Lang, all going, who's playing Trimble? And Ron said, Morgan Sheppard. Who the hell is Morgan Sheppard? He said, he's really Irish, but you wouldn't know. He's a Brit actor. Playing Trimble. Ooh, this we got to see. So they're all standing behind. And the ending of the speech is where I threw down my sword in front of him. And I did that with my hand, and Marty's eyes flicked to it. Cut. Go again. Oh, okay. Go again, one more. Okay. More accent. Huh? More voice. More voice? Nobody had ever said that to me. More voice. Okay. Okay, one bigger. Yes. It's an opera. Okay. That's where you got the part. It's an opera. Wow. So I threw down my sword in front of him. No, overacting. Can I go one more time? So I threw down my sword in front of him. Da 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 da. So I respectfully get out. I want to get the hell out of here. Yeah. And so of course, cut, print, got it. They three came round and hugged me. Very American. It's so good like that. It's so good like that. Genuine. It's quite genuine. And that's the piece that kept me in the movie, because I was cut. The entire role was cut in Atlanta. And can you believe this about rich people? Really rich people. Ted Turner said to Ron Maxwell, you can't cut Trimble. Well, I've got to, we're too long. I know, but you cut somewhere else. That's an aria, and we need it for the second half of the film. I think, don't we? I mean, I don't know anything about movies. I mean, you do. But rich people know about what works and what doesn't work. And that's why they stuck it back. And that's the true story of Gettysburg. That's why I loved it. And I was honored. There were only 2 of us in that show that were non-American. And we both went to the same school in Ireland. Jimmy, 30 years before me, after me, actually, 30 years after me, but the same little school in Ireland, Dublin. Can you believe it? And he played the English officer, and I played Trimble. I mean, that's how crazy the world can be, you know.
So when you were filming Gettysburg at the time, do you realize the impact that that still has? And the reason I ask that is I do a lot of volunteer work in schools. And in our school district, it is shown when they teach the Civil War. It was just shown, they borrowed my director's cut to show it in my son's classroom because they didn't have enough copies.
Am I still in it?
You're still in it. The director's cut's even longer if that's possible.
Yeah.
But yes, it's still, for my son, that's how he learned about the Civil War, was watching.
It's a terrific movie. It really is. I know for girls and ladies it's bang bangs and all that, but there's some wonderful performances. Conway's great. Above all, Richard Jordan. Burns is good. And above all, Jeff Daniels is incredible, in my book. It contains some of the best ensemble acting I've ever been in with them. You know, I was very honoured. And so I know I mean that. I get, you know, when I go out, I should be going, I lay down, oh yeah, and I lay down my sword in front of him. I might say, bless him, Marty Sheen went, you're going to keep that. It's true. And Ron went, yeah, that's the take, that's the one we're going to get. He said, but I looked, he hasn't got a sword in his hand. And Ron said, but he made you believe he did. And he went, yeah, okay. And I went and hugged him when he came on to do Babylon 5. I said, I've got to thank you for that, because you didn't argue, you could have done right. He said, no, I've done it. It made me look a fool. I didn't want Robbie Lee to be a fool. But I had to bow to the fact that you were so honest. Trimble was being so honest that Bobby Lee would have said, all right, I won't argue. So that's a true story.
And I think we had another question out here. Right here in the red.
My question is, going back to like the speculative stuff, you worked on one of my favorite video games, Zork Nemesis. My question is, did they know it was a Zork game when you were shooting the video and recording the dialogue for it?
Didn't know it was a video game.
Well, they didn't know it was a Zork video game.
That's right. They weren't quite sure. They wanted to see how it came out.
Oh,
Okay. They do that. I mean, they do that thing, you know. They do that. They often do that thing. They don't know what they're doing half the time. But it's a strange one to bring out. I mean, you're the first fan in about 20 years that's mentioned that show. You have. That's good. Thank you. Have I answered you?
yes, thank you.
No, that's why. That would have been why. Because it was filmed as a video game. It really was. It was shot as a video game. We were paid as if we were doing a video game. No, it was quite reasonable.
Well, the reason I asked is I'm a fan of that series, and compared to the other games in that series, it seemed the theming that it was part of the Zork series, it seemed bolted on.
Yeah, that's okay. I never knew that particularly about it, that it was in, shall we say, in the air, in being projected or not projected. I mean, I really didn't know that. We just played it as a video movie. That's what we were doing. I played my magician guy, whatever he was. I can't remember.
The bishop.
I was the bad guy. I know that, as usual. Something like that, yeah. Yeah, after now. Yeah, Mark and I always argue with audiences about that. What do you think about you guys playing bad guys? Mark will be, don't play bad guys! What do? We play guys who've got a different point of view from the hero. Every man has his reasons That's why you get the silliness outside. They've got their own reasons, and they believe them. That's the sad thing. Isn't that sad? You know? Lovely countries, great people. I like it here. You know? No, you're good. You're very welcoming. No, I know that's it's a bit ironic at the moment. We won't get into that, but yeah. Oh, I could.
Speaking of bad guys and good guys, the one time you played the good guy, you played Santa Claus in Prep and Landing.
Yeah.
Oh, I like it.
No.
I was just going to ask if there was any plans for another one.
I don't think so. They'll probably kill me. It was very strange that, because I've done 3 westerns for them, and then suddenly they come up with Santa Claus. And I said, what? And they went, Kris Kringle. I said, God, I'm so boring when I'm nice. I'm only fun when I'm, you know, a bit like that, you know.
You meet Santa Claus.
Was I all right?
You were great. You were great. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very touching.
Really? I'm quite serious. So many people have said nice things, but I never believe anybody, you know. No, I didn't like what I did. No. I tried, seriously, no, I can do that. I can not like what I did. I tried to play it truthfully. I really cut out the sentiment. I did do one very good thing in that. I know that. Where he sits on that throne, and I've got the kid in my lap, and I know the name of the kid's doll. And it wasn't written in the script. It just said, and how is Mrs. Robinson? Or whatever the name was, something like that. And the kid goes, oh, first I'm thinking, oh, he knows my dolly's name. And the mother behind goes, like that. I said, how does he know that? How does he know? The director and I went, Christ, we go, yeah, what do you think? The mother, she went, oh my God. It was my doll, yes? And I remember it. 30 years ago. 20 years ago. Can we play that? She went, we played that. The writer wrote me. He said, I've just got to thank you for that because you made me cry. Aww. Well, I thought, well, I couldn't have been all bad. You know, that's all you can say. I wasn't 100% happy, I'll be honest. I did my best. I really did what I thought was my best. But it's not one of my, I don't think it's not one of my real, put it that way. But thank you for asking, and thank you for being nice.
So you talked a little bit about your Star Trek roles, particularly the Klingon, but the one that I'm most familiar with is where you were Dr. Ira Graves in Schizoid Man, in Star Trek The Next Generation, where you transferred your consciousness to Data. Data, I'm a computer nerd and a programmer. He's always one of those favorite characters for guys like me.
And that's a great ending he's got for the funeral speech. Yeah.
So I like any anecdotes you can share
Yeah.
about shooting that, please.
Gene Roddenberry saw me reading. Said, do it again. Did it again. He didn't normally come to auditions, but he came to mine, quite like Sherlock. And then afterwards, as I finished, he then signaled to me. I went to him. He said, I'm Gene. I said, hello, sir. And he went, how do you play a genius? I went, bad-tempered. He said, you got it. You got it. So I've got the thing that started the whole thing. That one word I said, bad-tempered. 2 words, bad-tempered. Because that's what I did. Because all of them, they're impatient is what I eventually ended up with, which is better, much better to play than to play bad-tempered, because you lose sympathy, you lose, and also you're not, it's acting, and you've got to, the less acting you do, the better, you know. So that sustained me. Also the fact that he was in love with a 25-year-old girl. I was only 50 years of age then. Pardon me. Only about 50. My hotel room number is... Anyway. I'll bring a wheelchair. I started out in stand-up, you see. That's why it's a silly career of mine. When I was leaving the man who gave me a scholarship to the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art was an ex-naval. He had a good war, as they said in England. He'd been a naval commander. And I'd been in the Merchant Marine. So, and I was working class, blue collar. And I was a bit like that, you know, with a bit of an accent. A little bit of an accent then. And Street. He said, you know, Street. We have vicar's daughters at RADA. All lovely middle-class English girls. Terribly nice, because acting's a very nice career. A lovely thing to do. And they got about 4 or 5 people like me put in there, which is really putting, you know, the wolf among the, the sheep, to a certain extent. And he gave me a scholarship, which is great. And at the end of it, he was a wonderful man, wonderful man. And years later, I was taking my mother to the hospital for the last time. And I was parking the car, my wife was taking my mother up. And I saw a man in a wheelchair. I looked at him, and he looked at me. And he got up. I only had one leg. So I said, oh, do you want to go? He said, no. I've got to learn to do this by myself. So he sat, looked at me again, and then went, Morgan. I realized John Fernald. John. And he just turned to the boy behind him, a young actor who just arrived, obviously from the restaurant, just arrived. And he just said, that's one of mine. I am so proud of you.
Wow.
I'm a lucky man. I'll talk like that because it's, you know, I'm 83 and I got a great family and I got great families. Got a great son, great grandkid. You want to see the grandkids? You think Mark's trouble? They're great. They're great. Yeah. They think we're silly. You know, I'll say your daddy's a star, he's a TV star. What's Grandpa? And Mark goes, Grandpa's had 5 changes of career as an actor. He's been 5 different kinds of actor. He does that so he doesn't want to be a Neanderthal, which is absolutely true.
Yes, right here. So how are you fighting to get into Star Wars before Mark?
How am I what?
How are you fighting to get into Star Wars before Mark does?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Getting into Star Wars?
Yeah, what about it?
Getting into the movies before he does.
Oh!
Because one of you two will be in it sooner or later. So it's model
Yeah, I think you got a point, yeah. Yeah, we don't compete, he goes, we don't compete. I'm a different kind of actor than you. I say, yes, but one is better. We do that. We do that to keep sharp because he has a difficult bloody role to do in Supernatural. It's a tricky one. It is tricky, but he's bloody good because he's injected that wonderful irony. If that is the keeper of the gate to hell, can you imagine what the heaven's like, you know? Who's going to be at the front door of that one, you know? And it's got that sort of, he's rock and roll. He's a very good drummer, as you know. Yeah, you know. You fans know that. And there's Ariana Hoffman, yeah? Hoffy. She said, that's the best part of Supernatural, is the band afterwards on a Saturday. Which is great, you know. Okay, are we...
Close out with one
holding
final...
up anybody?
No, we're good.
Oh, good.
Close out with one final question. You've had such a long career from movies to stage. We've talked about video games, Civilization 5. I'm not sure how many people know how much
cartoons.
animation you've done. Gargoyles, Biker Mice from Mars, The Wild Thornberrys. Which one's your favorite medium, and which one's actually the most difficult to work in?
The most difficult one to work with is film, because telling the truth is mandatory. You can't do it without telling the truth, being the truth. Because ultimately, when you get to what we call the children, close-up, you have got to do nothing. That's what they all say. I've always queried that, because you've got to do something. Nothing is dead. Nothing is death. Nothing is static. Therefore, you've got to be... I'll tell you a very quick story. Wonderful, wonderful French movie called Amour, with Jean-Louis Trintignant and Emmanuel Riva. Ladies, I do urge you to watch it. You want to watch some great French acting. And Riva is 80 plus, and they offered her the role, and they said, we've got Jean-Louis Trintignant out of retirement. He'd retired for 7 years, to play your husband. And the story about an old couple that she has a stroke, and he has to look after her. And he's not happy doing it. It's got that gritty reality to it, like, God, I'm so fed up with keeping and tending and washing and mending, and which we all feel at times, you know, and then we stop, we say, no, we can't carry on like that, that's wrong, that's not fair, that's wrong. So then we gird our loins and up we go, and we trundle off, you know, up the hill again. And that's that kind of movie. And she said, I can't get up in the early mornings and travel across Paris because of the smog, because I'm 80. And he said, well, we'll build you a bedroom in the set. So they did, with a security guard, television, food, a chef, French, very French. That's the way to do movies. And then she said, there's only one problem. He said, well, I can't do that scene where I'm nude and he's washing me. And he said, oh. And she said, I'm 80. I can't do nude scenes at 80. I don't want to do nude scenes at 80. And he went, of course, I beg your pardon, etc. Cut. 3 days later, she knocked on his door and said, I can do it. More. I can do the shower scene. Really? She said, yes. I'm not going to do it. She is. And who's she? It's the character. How about that about acting?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what our game's about. I'm not going to do it. She is. I say that to young actors in my classes. Think you can get there? Close? Because that's what it's got to be, and it's about rejection all the time. It's not about rejection because you're bad. It's rejection when you're good. They've all got, you know, when you hear somebody like Rod Steiger saying, the scripts that I get now, and this is our 2 Academy Awards, the scripts I get now, the offers I get now, I've got George Scott's thumbprints on the pages. That's who we used to lose to. I lose to about 3 particular guys. My agent very proudly told me, the reason you haven't worked for about 3 months, Morgan, is because you didn't get it because of F. Murray Abraham. Oh, the Sound of Music guy, what's his name?
Christopher Plummer.
Yeah. Christopher Plummer, twice. You were so good at the audition, apparently, for The Priest, that they amalgamated the role and gave it to Christopher Plummer. Who's more expensive, but they weren't worried about that. And somebody else, that's... I can't argue with that. Christopher Plummer? Really? Yes. That's why I didn't get it. That's why you didn't get it. Okay. Yeah. Because every time I get a job, somebody else doesn't. Okay? That's the way you look at it.
Well, please join me in thanking Mr. Sheppard for quite the memorable hour.